Hi, hello. Today we're gonna talk about manga you should read and manga you shouldn't read, and manga you can think about. It's gonna be few series, I guess, mostly things I read in January. And before we get started, I just wanna know that if you are subscribed to me, if you're part of my 5 subscribers, please let me know. Do you prefer a video kind of videos or just a voiceover? Okay, but now let's get started. We're gonna start out with something you should read.
17.
That's 17 years old. It's a series that's so fucking crazy. It's the easiest way I could talk to you about this series is basically just about men being absolute cowards and women being super brave. The basic synopsis is that there's this like gang of young boys and they kidnap this girl, but it's not through perspective of the girl, it's through perspective of this guy who kinda gets pushed into it. But I don't think he's a victim, and I don't think anybody reading this manga could say he's a victim. He's much more of a I was just following the orders kind of person. So not that good, if you ask me. But overall, this manga really strikes you with how graphic it is, but especially with showcasing the psyche of people who abuse this girl. Because they have so many times where they can just let her go when they're even saying that they're over with it, with the abuse of her. But then decide, like, oh, I guess not. We'll just keep going, doing it for no reason. They keep escalating and keep pushing the boundaries of everybody involved. And at the end, they just don't know who they are anymore. But like I said, all those men are complete cowards because they could have helped at any way. Even the person that's supposed to be kind of a victim here who got pushed into like being part of this gang, he's just as guilty because he he could have he had so many places in which he could have stopped, so many. I think especially good part of this manga is the ending when the uh, inner dialogue of the male characters is shown, and I think it's really interesting that like we get to see that, which in the end we get to see kind of the abuser personality on the show. Whenever people get abused in like relationships and stuff, trigger warning, they like to justify their abuse that, oh, I just made them angry, there's a reason why I did it. But in reality, if you ask this like abusers what they did something, it's usually, I wanted to feel power. They were not listening to me. And that's what this manga shows, that like those abusers don't have like any kind of you know big motives of anything. They just literally just want to exercise their power and abuse the person. Next up is gonna be something fun. Okay, let's relax. Beasts of Abigail, that's a shoujo manga, and I had such big hopes for that one because it's by the mangaka who made Kaiju Girl Caramel Lisa, and I really wanted to read it. And the thing is, it's beautiful. The drawings are gorgeous. The girl is kind of fun, but I just hate this like Omega Alpha bullshit. When I first started reading, I hoped that it would be kept to minimum. But it was not. It was not kept to minimum. It was very much a big part of the series. So, and not something for me, but I know it's very beloved in shoujo communities. So maybe give it a try. It's by the mangaka I love, but I think Kaiju Girl Caramel is much better.
La Vie d'Amour.
By a mangaka who made Helter Skelter and Pink and Tokyo Girls Bravo. And I must say, as much as I was fan of her when like I read Helter Skelter and Tokyo Girls Bravo, then a bit less when I read Pink. But recently, when I've been reading her works, like La Via di Amor, or what was the other one? Fuck, I'll put it on the screen which one it was. They strike me as some just edgy bullshit, as in she loves to use like slurs and have like straight characters point out how gay people are, and it's kind of like okay, what she does, it usually feels like kind of like, oh, I'm using gay characters not because oh they're just gay. It's just like I think it's something perverse, and that's what I think it's cool. I don't think it's. I don't like it, and I start disliking this author much more with every series I try to read nowadays. I wanted to buy Tokyo Girls Bravo at some point, this whole series, as I read it, but then I started reading like Astro and La Via di Amor and something else I think as well. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, I stopped seeing the appeal of her edgy humor or whatever. Okay, next up. Back Back. A very popular series, as you know, probably. I don't know if it's a seinen or shonen, but either way, it's very seinen or shonen. uh, as in, I like that it's about music, but my issue with music manga is that, you can't really hear it. So what's the point of, that? I get that you can talk about feelings and everything, but it's like you can do as much about telling somebody how happiness feels without actually experiencing it. But it doesn't work if you wanna avoid the word chair when you're talking about furniture or something. I guess it's a bad metaphor, but it's like avoiding voice while singing. And the same issue I have with One Dance, where they do those poses and stuff in the manga, and I'm supposed to imagine them doing the freaking dances, but I just can't. I don't have that kind of imaginers. Like, what is the next move? What's the song playing? I think this kind of manga with like music that's highly on music or highly on um, dance a lot of times falls flat just because it's issue of the medium. But I don't think Beck is bad. It's just I don't think it's something style wise for me. Next one,
Boitaboin.
or whatever the fuck you call it. Cause listen, the setup when I heard it, that is two tomboys in all girls school wanting to have a full Yuri harem. I was like, fuck yeah, sign me in. I love that tomboy slash butch representation, but the series is so not my thing. But listen, if you are somebody who really likes shonen and this kind of like very over the top, energetic kind of manga, you please read it. You have to be fun for me, for both of us, because I just can't. I love the setup. I think it's great, but I just can't with like the speed, the paneling, everything. I'm sorry, but please be fans of it.
Bogo no Gray.
As in, it's part of this kind of niche on series of like war veterans, but they're actually little girls. I don't know how old the girl in the manga is supposed to be, but I just really don't like this concept of like war veterans and PTSD in a cute anime girl concept. Cause why is she a fucking 12-year-old? You know, like if it was specifically about children's trauma through war, then absolutely. But at this, not really. I'm sure people can like it. I know the art style is gorgeous, but I just don't like this kind of setup of like, you know, this.
Bukimi no Bukimi no Tanikun.
I thought it was a shoujo, but then I found out that it's like a seinen or shonen or something, and I can totally see it. I got most interested in it because of the like the robot guy design, But then I noticed that all the designs there are really shitty and the story kind of sucks. Um, I would tell you to give it a shot if you're into really simple-minded romance series, or whatever. But for me, it was just kind of like you have this super over-designed guy, and then everybody looks. It just feels so stupid, you know? It feels like a little Disney comic, which is not what I'm looking for in manga, I guess. Some people might be.
Goku Rakugai.
I have no idea how to pronounce this manga, honestly. But I'm giving it a second shot. I bought 2 volumes of the manga when it came out in Poland, and now I decided to buy a third one, and I still don't know if I like the series, honestly. I am not a big fan of like battle shonen and shonen in general, shonen pacing, shonen things that are very shonen, you know. But I was trying to give it a shot because I really love the art style. I really like female character designs, but I really don't know if I can be a fan for the series because I don't know. As much as I really try to be a fan of it, the only thing I enjoy in it is the art style, basically. I think it's just because I'm not the person who the series is for, but what can you do? But it's very gorgeous. I really like printing and saving pictures from the series. I just wish the series was just a drama or something, or like the one shot. Like people said, the one shot was more interesting, and people don't really like the Chainsaw Man ripoff that this series became. I wanted to root for it, but I don't know. I have 3 volumes. I was thinking of buying the fourth one just to be sure, but it's like, do I really need 4 volumes to know if I really like the series or not? Okay.
Cinderella Closet.
Um, Very popular shoujo from what I know, at least in America or English part of manga community. I personally couldn't really get into it. I don't like the series when it's like I am so ugly and I hate that I'm ugly and the only way for me to be happy is to wear makeup and pretty clothes. And I guess some people have that kind of experience when they want to put more care into their look and stuff. But for me, it really falls flat, especially when coming from Japan, which is so high on like, aesthetics and stuff. And I guess people who have like issues with their femininity or whatever can really appreciate this series, but I just don't like this, this makeover kind of series. I think they're kind of played out. I wish people would write stories more about people finding happiness in hobbies and self-realization and stuff like that. But not to say that the manga is bad. I only read like first volume or so. Didn't like it, but you may like it.
Cocoon.
Now something that I actually really enjoyed was Cocoon. Cocoon. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. But this manga, oh god, it's so amazing. That's what I mean when I say that Boku no Grey is not it for me, but this is. Because it's literally about children at war and how horrible it is while also trying to keep your like children's spirit alive. It's absolutely traumatizing. It's really amazing. I really wanted to buy the physical of it, but it's really I think it's out of print or something, so it's kind of hard to get. But I would really like to get it because my god, this art style, the way everything is portrayed, it's so good. I don't know how to say it other than it really. I actually didn't know what the manga is about other than that it's about war. But then when I read it, like, was wow, that really is traumatizing, isn't it? Well, maybe not traumatizing, but I think some, especially like those more gruesome panels, but even not those, they really you remember them for a longer time.
Wonder Cat Q-chan.
I really like this manga. I think that was my favorite manga I read this month. I think one of them at least. It's so sweet, but also I just like cats, you know. But I like that this cat, like when you have She's Sweet Home, she's mostly her charm, Kitty's charm is mostly that she's just acting like Kitty, you know. But in Wonder Cat Q-chan, Q-chan is just kind of acting like kind of a mixture of alien cat and a little baby, which makes it much more endearing. But I disagree with Q-chan being a girl. It gotta be a boy. I don't care that at the last volume they say it's a boy. It's just a cute boy. Let it be.
Futari de Koi wo Suru Ryo.
Okay, I really thought I'm gonna like this series. I already had it set out like on my list to be like, oh, completed, you know. But then I read like 2 or 3 volumes and I noticed that like it's kind of shallow, not very creative, nothing really new, nothing fun. Well, it is pretty. One thing that I'll give the series is that it has a kind male character that the kind girl falls for, and that's enough in my book. But then I noticed that the main romantic person that we're supposed to be rooting for is actually the guy who's not so kind to the girl at first, and I was like, I just don't like it. Can we have people like not always enemies to lovers? It's such a played out theme at this point, and it's really a shame because the girl is really cute. She's so sweet. Her main defining factor is that she's extremely sweet, and that's why people like her. But yeah, I was really disappointed with it, man. It was I really was I was ready to be a fan for it, but okay.
Goodbye Dystopia.
Goodbye Dystopia is something I was really trying to be a fan of. I read the whole series, and the biggest issue I have with Goodbye Dystopia is just that the main character, the not the traveling girl, she never really changes. She's this kind of like mean, annoying person for the whole series. She never ever, you know, tries to be someone who's actually understanding or grow through this trip. She's kind of like sad person she's supposed to be, and that's all. And I don't know, it really annoyed me that like everybody around her is treating her with such kindness and trying to show her this new world and stuff, and she's just being a bitch, you know. So I ended up not liking it, but I did finish it. I'm glad for the pretty drawings and stuff, but the character was fucking terrible. Oh my god.
The Swan Robe.
Swan Robe was annoying for me because it's supposed to be like a josei or shoujo, but it's literally the opening thing is like this girl. Like I'm skipping a lot of here, but like this girl comes into this guy's apartment and she collapses there, and the guy's first thought is like, "Oh, what if I assault her?" And then he goes to his friend, and the friend is like, "Oh, so you didn't assault her?" What the fuck is this reality the mangaka is trying to show? That like every male character in her series is like supposed to be some kind of fucking waiting for a meat predator. I didn't like that at all, and I decided I'm just not gonna engage with this kind of worldview, as in this kind of series where it portrays that man's first thought when he see a woman in trouble is to fucking rape her.
Homebodies.
Homebodies is kind of more of an art book, I would say, than the manga series. It's really pretty in that sense. In manga sense, it's not really. It's not much. It really makes you appreciate your own like living space, but I personally can't really find my living space to be that good because I don't really have a living space right now. I'm sorry, but it's really pretty. The paintings are gorgeous, and I think that's all I took out of this series.
Journal with the Witch.
I know this one got the anime I think recently, and I know it's very beloved, but personally for me, the pacing was kind of slow. Maybe not very. Maybe not slow in a way I like, I would say, because I like slow storytelling, but this one was kind of like, especially in the first chapter, so painfully slow, and a lot of this kind of just people sitting in a room talking to each other. I don't know, I kind of get put off by this kind of drama because I feel like you can do so much more than just tell, you can show us too. But I'm sure there's something further in this series. I read this author's, I think, White Notepad, which was pretty good. So I'm sure there's something else further down the line, but I just don't vibe with the pacing.
Even the introverted gals want to get out there.
Yeah, this one's great. Honestly, I wish it was officially translated so we could be set up to like the volume 3 already. But damn, it's good. It's really funny. The girls, they're really fun. As in, they have this kind of meta humor that really like a sarcastic kind of appeal that I really like, and they're also really cute. But I also like that they are not exactly against trends, but they're very critical of them. But just because they're not part of it, I don't know. I think it's a very fun series, but it's just a comedy, so there's not much for me to say about it.
It takes more than a pretty face to fall in love.
That's it. It didn't seem like it from what I read.
Kasane.
Kasne? This series is another of the issue that I don't like of storytelling where it's like someone's horribly ugly but they don't have any disfiguration in their face, they're just horribly ugly. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand the stories that are set up about someone who being horribly ugly when they don't have any kind of like disfiguration or stuff. Like no one is that ugly naturally where people would absolutely like want to kill them or something. Obviously the setup is kind of interesting, but as I read like 3 or 4 volumes, I noticed that every pretty character kind of looks the same, and like I said, I didn't really like the concept of the fact that like we have this ugly character, but the like she's so horribly ugly. Okay, what's so ugly? What are those ugly characteristics?
Show me your shark teeth.
That was fucking a fetish manga like hell. I didn't know it was because the girl looks super cute, but then it was like, I wanna see you chew, I wanna see your teeth, and it's like, I can tell what this manga is trying to be, and not a fan.
My pancreas broke, but my life got better.
It's another book I read by Nagana Kabi, and I must say, I am containing my thoughts as to her works because I am going to be finishing reading all her works soon. Because I just read my Twisted Eating Disorder, and I'm going to be reading the one with the fiction character she made up. And then I probably will make a video about it because it's a very concerning character, and I think there needs to be a further discussion about it. So we'll wait for that. Luna Night. Luna Night has the same energy for me like Boku no Grey, where you have like this little girls who are super like assassins or soldiers or whatever. And I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we have this cool setup, but we need to have a pretty cute little girl there with no muscle, but she's super strong. You know, it's obvious otaku bait, and I don't like it. Thank you.
Peony Pavilion.
It's actually, I think, a Chinese comic. It's absolutely beautifully illustrated, but I must say that Chinese poetry, even translated into such simple language as English, is so hard to understand. Where I was just turning pages looking at the pretty pictures and not understanding anything that the poetry was trying to tell me. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Sometimes people just are.
Thank you.
Dick.
And nobody's fault but mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I don't read my soul belie. I have a Bible in my home.